welcome back to Paranormal NL Podcast, located in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. That's PNL Podcast for short. I'm your host and founder, Jen Noseworthy. Thank you for tuning in to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in Ireland and 105.3 FM at Ondat Gulf. For tonight's spooky Christmas special on UPRN, segment number 59, I've got three guests waiting backstage from Ottawa, Canada, who I'll bring on shortly. Now it's time to grab your favorite cup of Christmas brew, a few merry munchies, and get cozy by that fireplace and get ready for the show tonight. Paranormal NL Podcast is sponsored by the Bog Team. It's a boots-on-the-ground Bog Team doing historical paranormal investigations in Newfoundland, Canada. Follow PNL Podcast and the Bog Team on their Linktree, Paranormal NL Podcast. Smash those subscribe buttons. Now, all Bog Team music heard in the intro and exit is available for download on all social media and streaming music platforms. Tune in every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on UPRN for PNL Podcast with a YouTube and a Facebook live chat watch party. PNL Podcast believes in supporting international paranormal networking and highlighting global paranormal people, places, and things. Now, let's get on with the show. Tonight, I have on stage with me, I've got Lee Hatfield, and I've got two more backstage. I've got Logan Wagner and Valter Nakamura. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks for having us. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yay, Merry Christmas.
I've
got
spooky
no
Christmas.
idea who these two are. I've never met them before in my life.
They just showed up.
Yeah.
We do that from time to time.
Two random guys off the street.
Let's do some introductions, y'all. Do you want to start first with Lee?
No. Okay. Yeah.
No?
Okay. So, my name's Lee Hatfield. I'm originally from England, where all the history comes from. I'm actually quite old. I was born when everything was in black and white. I moved to Canada in 2013 after marrying a young lady-ish from New Brunswick who is living in Ottawa. So I've been in Ottawa for the last 13 years.
Nice.
And we'll get into meeting these two a little bit later.
Yeah, how about you guys? Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Walter.
All right, so my name is Valter Nakamura. I was born in Brazil. My family's all Japanese, and I was raised here in Canada. Just like Lee, I married a maritimer from Nova Scotia. So
woohoo, go Nova Scotia. What is it about Nova Scotia that the Ontario and the Ottawa folks like over there, huh?
I
Must
mean,
be the accent.
I don't know about Lee, but I mean, I just look good.
It's that Atlantic Canada vibe, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
All right. So you're next.
Yeah, so my name's Logan Wagner. I guess we're introducing where we're from. I'm from Ottawa. I've always been from Ottawa. Grew up in Ottawa. Good old Ottawa, yeah, so I've been in paranormal investigating since about 2019. SIPA Canada as a team formed in about 2024. Once we all kind of decided that we wanted to, collectively investigate the same methods. My background, though, I'm more of a technical guy, more with the equipment. My background is in film and TV. So I help with all the video and editing and just generalized equipment management.
You're the tech guru. Love it. Now, you guys do a lot of tech stuff, hey? Yeah, and you even teach, how to use some of the equipment. I think a lot of people are interested in that lately. Have you noticed a big spike in that?
Absolutely. So, Lee himself, he actually runs a course about equipment. You know what, Lee? Why don't you explain exactly what your course is about?
This is because Logan has forgotten. So I help out a company that are based in Halifax, so on the East Coast again. I think we've covered most of them on the East Coast right now. called Paranormal Phenomena Research and Investigation, and they do various courses on the paranormal. And this is where I first got my background.
Now, Lee, I've got to give a shout out. I've got to say thank you for your service with the RAF, the Royal Air Force. So, yeah, I don't know if you mentioned that at the beginning, did you?
I didn't, but let's go there as well, because this is really organised. I love it. So I did serve in the Royal Air Force in England for 6.5 years. I was then a firefighter for 12 years.
Awesome.
Then a paramedic for 13 years.
We could have used you here in Newfoundland for all of our wildfires. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Sorry,
we had a lot.
I only do structure fires. That's all I do. I'm sorry, I'm not. The wildfires get too hot.
Yeah, that's where they send in the hot shots. Hey, but you're even more of a hot shot. Yeah. You got the air covered, right?
I'm not jumping out of an aircraft into a fire. But
I've got a cousin that does that, water bombing. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, cool. But then I moved to Canada, and I now work for the government. But going back to the original story, which I forgot what I was doing. Oh yeah,
your course, though.
I was. Yeah, so I've done some. I've done some courses with this company, and I've done Introduction to Demonology, Ghosts and Hauntings, Poltergeist,
Cryptozoology. You got it all covered.
Cryptozoology. Hey, you're good. Cryptozoology. And now I actually teach the paranormal equipment course for them, which is a 4-week course.
That sounds fun. Tell us more about that. Is everybody involved with that, or is that just you, Lee?
No, I'm the one that's got so many fingers in so many different pies. It's like I say, it's a 4-week course. First week covers all the normal basic stuff that people use, like the audio and the cameras, and we go through various cameras and the do's and the do nots of audio and video recording and still photography. Week 2, we go into the diagnostic stuff, so the stuff that you can use in day-to-day construction. So I'm talking about the tri-field, because you can use that for radio masts and stuff like that. The anemometer for breezes and atmospheric pressure and all that malarkey, and then a few other little gadgets. And then week 3, we go into what I call the pseudoscience, but this is more of the gadgets that people relate more to paranormal. So like the REM pod, the K2, and all those kind of related objects. And then week 4 is back to the old school, where we talk about the Ouija board, the dowsing rods, the pendulum.
That's some hardcore education you got. What do you get at the end of it besides the participation award? What do you get?
You get a nice little certificate to say that you completed the course, and you get a round of applause from me for being a great student.
And that means a lot.
It sounds like a fun class, though. I mean, there's a lot involved. I mean, people think, oh, yeah, anybody can just go do the paranormal. But, I mean, do you guys want to talk a little bit more about, I know Valter and Logan, you each have your own kind of specialty areas. Do you want to talk a little bit about those? I mean, some people like the old school stuff and just you mentioned the pendulum or like the dowsing rods. Yeah, you're pointing. Yeah.
So, for our team, let's say with the background of the paranormal, it's always been in my whole entire life, with my mom, my sisters being Wiccans and all that stuff. So I've always been around that and everything. And then I got that interest into the occult and the old school things, right? So when we do our investigations, I tend to be the guy who's going to push those boundaries with the Ouija board, the tarot cards. Not saying that I have any like abilities or I'm a sensitive, but I'd like to take it the old way, because on the team, we like to spread out how we investigate, right? So me taking the old school stuff, while Logan here will take the new school stuff, right? And then having both ways confirming each other is how we associate being either paranormal or, unknown until we can figure it out, kind of a thing.
Yeah, because some spirits or entities, shall we say, they're like, what the heck is all this equipment? And they're like the old school stuff, like a candle or something like that,
No, exactly. And that's the main thing why we try to implement those, is because if you think of entities or spirits, not knowing which era you're even speaking with could be like, let's say you come with a REM pod, they'd be like, what's a REM pod? Electricity didn't even exist at this time. So they're like,
right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Versus, here's a pendulum. Can you just move this to tell me what you're trying to tell me? Yes, no, kind of a thing. And basically in the 1800s, 1900s, early time, that's when kind of the paranormal and contacting, doing seances kind of boomed.
It did.
So able to bring up those certain verbatims will trigger them to kind of contact us and reach out more than saying, go touch this antenna. And they'll be like, what's an antenna, right?
Right. Have you tried different languages?
We've tried on some locations German.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Getting your response?
You know what? I don't think we got much, to be honest. It was a location out in Penetanguishene, Ontario.
Have you tried French?
We've tried French. Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
that's one thing with Ottawa, is that we're right up against the border of Quebec.
Right.
So
Yeah.
more often than not, the location that we're going to is either a bilingual home or French, just to begin with. A few of our members actually are French natively, so
Okay.
they, it's the primary language, and that's kind of why I like the way we formed ourselves. Currently, we have about 9 members. I believe 4 of which are French speaking. I mean, Valter and I speak French as well. I wish
Nice.
Lee did,
Yeah.
but he's a little too British. At times he's a little lost, but that's okay. But yeah, there you go. So you can kind of see on the left-hand side there,
Right.
those are our 3 main members that are French speakers.
Okay. Yeah, we get French a lot on Spirit Box, and we'll just kind of say, well, we don't know a whole lot of French, and then we'll try a different language, because we also
Right.
got a member on our team from Norway, so he'll speak a little bit of that, right?
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, being in Newfoundland, you guys probably have all sorts of influence from Europe and whatnot.
Oh
right?
my gosh, 100%. We're like has the oldest city in North America is St. John's. So
There you go.
we've got, pirate right down to the pirates and all kinds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
it definitely goes a long way having a lot of different languages. I mean, you've also spoken, I believe, well, a bit of Japanese as well.
Yeah,
before,
with the diversity that we have, I've tried Portuguese, I've tried French, I've tried Japanese.
fun. Okay.
Whatever I can kind of pick up, I'll try to just throw out there to see if there's any kind of reaction, right? Depending on the history of the actual location. So some of the places we've been, knowing that they might be Scottish or French, we try to use Lee to trigger them because, he's a Brit. Right? And be like, hey.
I was just going to ask about trigger stuff.
Yeah, we have a Brit here. We're going to leave him alone. Do whatever you guys want with him, kind of a thing.
I feel harassed.
Lee, do you have a favorite place that you've investigated that you want to just gotta keep going back, or that you want to go back?
Well, there's a place that's local to us called the SDG Jail, which is in Cornwall, which is about an hour away. And that was the first investigation that us 3 did as a team. Because back in the day, there was only the 3 of us. Mm-hmm. And we have had some really good results from that particular jail, to the point where we've had some really cool EVPs that we can't explain. And I've sent them away to some of my friends that work in the business, and they've analysed the EVPs and go, yeah, the audio's not been tampered with, the video's not been tampered with. They've even broken it down.
Tell me about the EVP, Lee. Was it intelligent, or
Well,
we've got a video of it. I can try sharing it if you'd like.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can figure this out here. Bear with me here. So if I go ahead and share my screen, let me know if you get the audio on that as well. Hopefully you do. Can you see this here?
Add it to the stage there now.
Okay.
Oh, can you
hear that?
maximize that? Yeah.
That's about as big as I can get it, unfortunately. But
Okay, everybody listen.
I don't know if you got that or not.
It sounds like a dog or a wolf.
So you'll have to check it out on our social media with some headphones there. But to us, it sounds like a child laughing.
Yeah, because on the bottom you said something about child. So
that's just it. So you do hear a speaking in the distance of it, and there's a very distinct laugh that you hear.
Do it again.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me get back to it there. Are you hearing that?
Add the stage. Okay. No, I just put
it on one more time
there. Yeah, don't you love it when you're doing stuff and it seems like EVPs and they like to talk at the weirdest moments when you're not kind of paying attention to them, and then they'll just blurt out stuff and you're like, wait, did you just hear that kind of thing?
So here's a funny story about this, right? Now we're in a jail, so I wouldn't really expect a child to be there.
Right.
I'm not sure who would expect a child to be there, but this jail was closed in, I think it was 2002. It's like Lisa there, it's in Cornwall, Ontario, and it opened in, I want to say, the early 1900s. The thing
even earlier.
It might have been the 1880s, wasn't it?
It was one
of the first jails in Canada, actually.
Yeah.
In about the 1910s or 1920s, I believe it was, the warden at the time, he had a house that was built and attached to the jail. The thing is he used to take in all the orphans in town.
Okay.
So my assumption is that some of these children might have wandered into the jail. Who knows what happened to them, whether or not they were already sick to begin with or something bad happened to them. But
right. Yeah.
There's probably a child that might still be around that jail. Now,
or it could be Lee's toy behind him there. So tell me, have you ever encountered any like haunted objects or attachments or anything like that amongst your investigations?
I can
tell you, Valter.
Funny, but go ahead. Explain the Comic-Con, what we hear frequently.
So we've been going to Comic-Con for the last 2 years now, having a booth, and we're just explaining about the paranormal, that there's teams here in Ottawa and so forth. It seems that there's a lot of Comic-Con cosplayers and people that come that kind of step up to our booth and they start telling us, because they say they have abilities, your equipment is all like it's haunted, it has attachments. And we've come to the point where like, can you kind of tell us which one? They're like, there's a lot of them.
There's too many things that have attachments at this point that they can't pinpoint exactly what item it is.
Okay. So yeah, then what do you say to them?
Okay, thanks.
You're like, okay, thanks for sharing that. Yeah,
exactly.
Pretty much. It's like, well, I mean, it's what we're trying to do is communicate. So if there is an attachment, it's kind of good for us.
Yeah, not against it. Can't imagine the most negative thing either, because I mean, we're not feeling anything. All of our equipment's behind us usually, and it's not like there's a negative presence around us or anything. So,
have you ever had anything come back to your home?
Oh, multiple times. Multiple times.
Okay, tell us about that.
Geez. Okay, I'll explain. I guess the most notable time this has happened to me. I had a sense that you know that feeling when you feel like you're being watched.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, we all got that sixth sense, and it's not Santa Claus. It's somebody else.
It happened a lot after one investigation in particular, and almost so to the point that I was like, okay, this is kind of eerie, so I had to reach out to one of my medium friends, and I was like, by chance, is there anything following me or attached to me? And she's like, yeah, of course, you got 2 things with you right now. I'm like, what? The fact that you can pinpoint that right away, it blows my mind. But she goes and explains that it's an old man who died from a stomach ulcer and a little boy who's with the man. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. It was probably one of the museums that we visited. I don't know why he's with me, but probably because we tried to communicate with him. So I asked them, I was like, can you try to get rid of them? Because they're, giving me some eerie vibes around the home there. They're like, no problem. The next week I'll do my best to kind of, move them along. And I think it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday, middle of the night, no notice from her whatsoever. I woke up at maybe like midnight or 1 a.m. and just kind of vomited all over myself. And I was like, what the hell? I messaged her the next day. I was like, did you do anything? And she's like, yeah, I got rid of the two spirits last night around midnight. And I was like, come on. What?
Now, there are some people who say that, what do you think about this, Lee and Logan, that it has to be with intention, but you have to do it instead of somebody else? I know that there's remote viewers, there's very powerful mediums, but how do you feel about that? Because most people will say you have to have the intention. You have to do it versus long distance. What's your feeling on that? But I know you had a weird experience.
Yeah. I mean, Lee, you can kind of speak to that a bit more. I feel like you've spoken to quite a few people that...
Yeah, so I can't go into too much detail because the episode hasn't been released yet. But I spoke to a girl who was in California a few weeks ago, and she said that she could remote view and astral project. But when this comes out, the episode will be released, so it's kind of confusing. But
yeah, no, go ahead.
And I actually got her from Tommy Cullen's YouTube site.
Shout out to Tommy. Yeah,
Tommy.
Let's get freaky.
Another Brit, yay.
Yoo-hoo.
And she said she could remote view and astral project, so I'll put it to the test. And she described things that was in my apartment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like...
It's a thing. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of guests about remote viewing, and it's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of scary, right? I mean...
It is, but I wanted her to do it, and I wanted to put it to the test. Because I'm a firm believer in, okay, this has happened, prove it. So she actually described a few things in the apartment, and I sent the two guys a list of stuff that she did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there's absolutely no way. Oh, yeah.
They were here in Newfoundland over on Bell Island. I've had them on the show.
Yeah, they are absolute sweethearts.
Beyond the Haunting, Corinne, Leanne, and also Kelly. Yeah. So there's a lot of mediums on the go. Some people think, oh, it's all hoopla. No, it ain't. There's people with definitely abilities.
Yeah, and if that kind of thing does happen, it's like, okay, how did it happen? Because some of the things she described were way off camera that way, way off camera that way. So there's absolutely no way that she could see the reflection or anything like that. So it's like, how the heck did this happen? And it's got me so intrigued. Like, the wife's bought me a book on astral projection, and this girl said, whenever you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer them. So yeah, she's my new best bud now.
I love that. Yeah. And I know we didn't get into UAPs or anything, or UFOs, because we usually we talk. People think paranormal is ghosty. No, it's like everything. And you also already mentioned cryptozoology and demonology and poltergeist stuff. But I mean, that also includes ufology. Have you delved much into that? I've got Tim up on the stage. I got to do a shout out to my fellow UPRN co-host, Paranormal Insight, Tim Sedano.
Oh, I'd say I released episode 39 last Friday, and I have spoken to some really amazing people. Talking to one guy about UFOs, and just routinely went, yeah, that was the time when I got abducted by aliens. And I'm going, what? You can't just spring that in the middle of an interview. So he's coming back for episode 2 to talk about his alien abduction.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's no joke either. There's a lot of people
I've had some weird, fascinating people.
Yeah.
Me and Tommy had a complete blast when Tommy was on the show, because I was on his and then he was on mine within like a couple of weeks of each other.
I love Tommy.
Yeah, he's an absolute diamond. He really is.
Yeah. We were talking, about remote viewing and things like that and different abilities. Have you guys tried any UAP stuff? Any when I say UAP, like CE5, have you tried any of that?
I can't say I have.
No? Do you follow Skinwalker or anything like that? Or
I feel like you're familiar with some of that.
I mean,
what do you think, Logan?
there's theories that I've looked into
Valter,
that and everything. So, like the whole Bigfoot being alien, I've heard about those theories as well and everything. And they kind of could make sense because we've never been able to completely find, full evidence. You know what I mean, right?
right?
So,
and why is there always an orb with Bigfoot?
exactly, right? Or like, here's a thing that I'm just gonna throw out there. Like when it comes to cryptids and everything. So I was thinking in my head, the devil. You know how everyone describes the devil. If I were to ask you, can you describe me the devil? What would you tell me?
You mean visually or?
Visually.
I would say that it can morph into whatever the hell, excuse the language, it wants, depending on what scares you.
Right. So it takes on fear. So it has an ability, right? But
Right.
if people you speak with to be like the devil is the half goat with horns and humanoid shape and all that stuff, including like in religion and everything, right? What I came with my own theory of that is what we or religion depicts as a devil. Back in the days, they didn't have the word cryptid. They didn't know what a skinwalker is, Bigfoot. So to me, what people saw back then is not really a devil. It was actually a cryptid.
Could be.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's the way they described it, right? And then when people say, I've seen an angel, what's an angel? Humanoid with wings will say. That's also a cryptid.
Yeah,
right?
there's so many different cryptids on the go. I mean, do you have many cryptids over in your area?
There's one sat next door to Logan.
I mean, being with the natives and the First Nations and all that stuff, I mean, throughout Canada, there's always going to be the whole talk about skinwalkers.
There's Wendigos supposed to be
Wendigos,
local
Wendigo,
to Mississippi.
There's obviously Sasquatch, Yeti, whatever you want to call them. It's still the same kind of creature. I mean,
Right.
they're all the names, but
Right, hairy man and things that can shape from a wolf into something else, and so many other different things. I know in our Labrador culture, we have a lot of different things there also. You've talked about the Yeti and things like that, right? So yeah, all kinds of different stuff. Have y'all had any, I guess, shall we say, encounters with anything like poltergeisty or super spooky?
So, I mean, the creepiest thing that I've ever experienced, I don't know if it's necessarily a poltergeist, but I've definitely felt something that I couldn't see physically.
I hate it when that happens. Yeah. Okay.
We were staying at the Beck House, that location I mentioned there in Penetanguishene, Ontario.
Okay.
Bit of a history. It's from the 1800s. The creator of that town, it's his home, right? So the first property that was built there. And he had a large family that had passed away in that house in multiple generations and whatnot. It's said that one of his daughters still is there. She had passed away from TB, and she likes to take care of the guests that stay in that home. So sure enough, all of us are staying there in separate rooms because that's what we do. And in the middle of the night, I feel what feels like two hands kind of just tucking in the sheets from shoulder all the way down to my knees. And at that moment, for whatever reason, I'm like, I can't open my eyes. I'm like, I'm not looking to see if that's Lee or someone else.
You know what? I don't mind the benevolent ones. It's the other kind that freak me out.
Yeah. I mean, it could have just been the fear of, I don't know what it is, or the fear that this room is filled with mirrors and small dolls, but I didn't want to open my eyes for whatever reason, but something definitely tucked me in, and that I'm certain of.
It's such a gross feeling when something touches you and there's nothing there that can explain what is doing that, and you're like, ew.
I don't want to know.
And then you whip out your SLS, right? You're like, I got to see what the heck this is. Like, do you do stuff like that, Lee?
So we've never done an SLS, but I mean, you can speak to a moment where you've had, I don't know if you remember the thermometer there, where we were at a public investigation and this couple claimed that something was next to them.
Oh, I'm trying to remember that one.
Okay, so we were doing a public investigation. I think it was at the Watson's Mill, I want to say. or no,
Spencerville. Right?
Spencerville Mill. And there was this these two women that were standing, kind of aside from themselves, but holding some K2s and whatnot, just trying to investigate with whatever was there. And out of nowhere, they're like, "There's a cold breeze right next to us."
Oh.
And, Valter comes running over with his thermometer, and he's like, "I gotta test this." Or maybe it was Lee. Was it Lee?
It was Lee. It wasn't me.
Lee, maybe you can finish the story then. You experienced it.
Yeah. So they was on the upstairs. So
that second floor, I would say.
Yeah, and they basically said that there was a cold spot between them, and they were sat maybe 2 foot apart. So I'd got the thermometer and I'd got the anemometer for the breeze, put that near the window. There was no wind, no breeze coming from any of the windows. And I put the thermometer between them, and there was like a dip in temperature, not much, just by like a degree or so. But you bring it out of the area that they were sat in, and everything was room temperature. You put your hand back in, and it was really cold. And there was nothing coming up from through the floors or through the windows. Everywhere the doors were closed. So yeah, we couldn't really explain that or what it was. And after a few minutes, it just dissipated.
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out what the heck is going on, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So do you I know you talked about a barrage of different equipment and things like that you'd like, but what's your go-to stuff that you bring? I mean, have you ever tried anything weird? Like, since we're in the Christmas, have you ever tried Christmas lights or something like that?
I mean, we use cat balls. I mean, they flash like Christmas lights.
Yeah.
I gotta say, one of the weirdest things that I've designed is it's essentially a REM pod that has an attachment that you can connect to anything metallic to extend the connection of the REM.
Okay.
So essentially, picture let's say you've got a metal purse,
right?
And you're trying to connect with whatever's in that area, and you're saying, "This is your purse. If you're actually here, touch your purse." If they touch it, the connection completes and then would set off the device. Now, this device that I've made, it's designed like a Dybbuk box.
Okay.
For the fun of it. But it looks like an authentic Dybbuk box, and I love it.
Awesome.
So for anyone who doesn't know what a Dybbuk box is, maybe Valter with a little bit more of the...
I've been to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, and it's haunted AF.
Oh, yeah. That is a great museum.
And you've seen his Dybbuk box?
Oh, yeah. We had to leave the room because my husband got really affected. We had to leave the museum once we hit that room. Wow. And we forgot to leave an offering.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oops. So tell us more about your equipment.
Well,
you were going to talk about the Dybbuk box. I'm sorry.
I was just explaining what a Dybbuk box is so basically it's a box that can trap, let's say, evil spirits or demonic spirits in it, according to certain religion. And it's basically to kind of exercise something and put it in that box. Inside the box, it could be anything that's treasured by that family or whomever to bring it out. And then you trap it, you put a wax seal and all that stuff. Now, as you saw from Zach Bagans' museum, you should never open that box because when you do, you're going to release whatever is in there, right?
That's right. We had a member of the BOG team who was on season 2 at the very end. It was a Christmas episode, I believe. He made a devil's toy box out of mirrors and captured something in there and used a stethoscope and all kinds of PI equipment to listen. There was some stuff going on in there. So he had all this bad stuff happen, bad luck to his family, everything. It's still happening through the devil's toy box out in the ocean. So, it's good. But
that's just gonna wash up and some unlucky soul is gonna find that.
That's not the best message in a bottle there, right?
No.
Jumanji.
But yeah, that can get pretty scary. Have you ever had anything happen with mirrors? Like, have you ever tried anything weird like that, like scrying?
Well, funnily enough, we was in the what was that place? The Braylock Inn in New York State, and we rented the 2 most haunted rooms.
Oh.
And I was doing a solo, and those guys were in the bathroom together. They sound bad. But that's where
I was going to say, okay.
that's where the MVR was. Okay, that's where the MVR was. And I was sat right in front of a mirror, and it might just have been psychological, but I thought that my facial features were distorted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of people talk about stuff like that. And I say that, it depends on the type of mirror. If the older type mirrors, I think they have more lead or something in them.
Yeah.
So
that was also a cool location, because on the second night, those guys, okay, they were both in the bathroom, one story. They both shared one room together. That's another story. But I was in the other
But
room.
Lee, back to the mirror. Was there another mirror pointing another mirror?
No. But
okay.
On the second night, I got into bed after about 2:00 in the morning, and it's got the old-fashioned blankets on the bed. So
Yes, yeah, like at Nan's house, right?
Yeah, exactly. So once you move, the blankets settle. Yeah, which the blankets did. And then within 30 seconds or so, I felt a really heavy sensation sit on the bed, like I thought one of the guys had come into the room and not heard the door. Open my eyes, and then I just saw this white, I can only describe it as an apparition going past. And by the time I'd reached over to grab my cell phone to take a picture, it had gone.
That's such a weird sensation, isn't it? When you feel the bed, something sit on it.
Oh, yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I mean, I've worked in multiple hospitals where I've had that happen. I'm like, okay, yeah, hello, how are you doing? And that person probably passed away maybe, a couple hours ago or something. And here you are doing postmortem care by yourself. It's like, yeah. So, yeah, it can get weird.
At least you weren't alone.
I was.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, with the spirit. At least you weren't alone in the hospital.
Yeah. I've been to or I've had a lot of weird experiences with that. But do you find like the more older places you find more spirits, or why is it always older places? What's your theory on that?
For myself, what I'm like, again, my theory on this, even for any kind of locations, the older, there's more history through it, which then there's more attachment to certain objects, right? But for what I also believe is that if you go to investigate a location, the first night might be a quiet night. Why? Because again, you're walking into someone's place. They don't know who you are. I always say return a few times, and it doesn't matter what location. I really believe that if you go at least 3 or 4 times the same location, you will get more activity, because now they're comfortable with you and they know what you are. You're coming with that energy. It's the same energy, and you're getting in that same frequency, we'll say, right?
Yeah, they're starting to get to know who you are and get to know you. Because some of them are like, yeah, get out of my house. Like, I don't want to talk to you, right?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And going to some of these locations where they do public events, you can just imagine the spirits going, oh God, it's a Friday. There's another group. People asking me to say my name. And
I was just going to say that, Lee.
I just want an early night. Come on, guys.
I think that really happens, though. Like, how we were talking about earlier, like you could be doing something completely different. Then they're excited. They want something else to talk about besides what's your name and da-da-da-da, right?
Yeah. The same question. Do you know you're dead?
Yeah. And it's one of the things that I always like to mention to people as well is like, you see a lot of TV shows and YouTube channels where they go, oh my God, they've said the word demon. There must be a demon here. And it's like, hang on a minute, guys. Let's turn this around a little bit. They're probably calling you a demon for using this modern technology.
Yep. I've had them call us witches and witchcraft and be careful, and they always go through your purse or your trunk. And like, they're so intelligent. They'll be like, get out of my purse, because they'll start naming off stuff in your purse and in the trunk. I'm like,
you don't want that to happen. Not your purse. No.
No. But have you had many intelligent ghosts, shall we say, or spirit?
I was at another jail, a place, I always say it wrong because I'm from England, but these guys will correct me. L'Oreal. Yeah, which is between here and Montreal. And I got asked to help a friend of ours set up for public investigation because he didn't like being there by himself. So he asked me to, and I took the wife just for a road trip. And there was a couple of things that really kind of made us think. The first thing, in the courtyard, there's some gallows. So the wife went up and had a picture on the gallows. And as she's coming down, Elliot says the last 3 people to get hung here were buried in the courtyard. So she's walking across the grass going, oh yeah, there's one here, one there, and one there. I looked at Elliot and he went, yeah, she's absolutely spot on. So I said, how did you know? Oh, well, it got cold, then it warmed up, then it got cold, then it warmed up, then it got cold. So a little bit later in the evening, because we wanted to do an investigation there later, I'd got my video recorder with me, and some of the rooms had lights on, some of them didn't. And I went into one room that was being redecorated. Used to be a kitchen or something, but they'd ripped everything out. They'd got decorators' boards on the floor with blankets and the smell of fresh paint. And I'm walking around this room, and then I just get this stroke down the side of my face. My immediate thought was, oh, it's a spider. But then hang on a minute. Decorators have been in that afternoon. A spider wouldn't really have time to form a web or anything like that.
Right.
So I mentioned it to Elliot again. Oh, yeah, people have been known to be touched in this room quite frequently. So it's like, huh. So
yeah, it's kind of a weird
intelligent.
sensation. Yeah. Has anybody else on your team gotten like touched or stuff like that?
I've gotten a whisper before.
A whisper? Yeah.
Clear as day. Setting up again. It's at the Beck House. Highly recommended, by the way. It's known as one of the most haunted Airbnbs in Canada. If you've ever just look up haunted Airbnb in Canada.
Okay, love paranormal tourism. So if you're in what area again?
It's in Ontario, so it's Penetanguishene, Ontario. So it's a bit. It's north of Toronto.
Okay.
4 hours north of Toronto.
Yeah, check that out, folks.
Definitely. Super hot spot. But we were setting up our equipment. Valter and I are in the same room, and he's maybe 5-6 feet away from me. Lee's in another unit altogether, just setting up other equipment. And right next to my head, I hear a clear whisper. No idea what it said, but loud enough as if someone was trying to scare you. And I turn around, being like, who was that? You know, like, I know it's not Valter. He's like 6 feet away. I'm like, where's Lee? You know, it's got to be Lee, because that makes no sense, and Lee's nowhere to be seen. So now I'm just confused. I'm running around the apartment being like, okay, he's got to be hiding somewhere. I don't know how we got around so quickly, but there's no way that something just whispered in my ear loud enough that I could hear it. That still goes down as one of the moments that I can't explain. Well, one of the weirdest moments. Do you think that was kind of like a doppelganger, or did it sound like him? I don't know. I don't think it sounded like either one of them. It was clearly a voice, but I don't think it was them. I don't know what it was saying though. That's so it wasn't like mimicking kind of thing. No, and it wasn't clear enough. So I wish it happened again that night, because then it would have been very evident. But we tried doing a bunch of solos. So same area. We all went in for about an hour on our own just to see if we can try to instigate whatever was there. The only thing that did happen that was actually notable was Lee got a crazy good hit on the REM pod in a similar area to it. So that was that was notable. But yeah, definitely wish we could go back and try to look into that a little more.
And there was one thing in that same room. All 3 of us were sat in the lounge of one unit one night, and we'd got, I think it was the Ovilus or something going, or I can't remember which device it was, but it mentioned the owner's name. Oh, yeah. And then it mentioned the fact that she was sick or ill. And then we looked out the window, and there was an ambulance pull right up outside the building. And it's like, no way.
Within like a minute, it was like, I think her name was Brenda. It was, I think it was saying that she was going to have a stroke or something like that. Yeah. Wow. It said, Brenda, she'd been speaking to us shortly before too. So it said, Brenda, come back, stroke. And then shortly
Oh my
after,
gosh.
we're hearing an ambulance pulling up, and it was like, what?
Okay, yeah.
You could have seen Logan's reaction was the best. He's like, no way, no way.
Yeah, I love when Spirit Box is like super intelligent. Sometimes it's scary though, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever
definitely.
get it's like so intelligent? It's like, and then it's like sometimes pretending to be something else, saying, "Oh, I'm your friend. I'm an angel," and like, yeah, I'm sure you're an angel, but probably not that kind, right?
One thing that
explain your story there at your buddy's place.
Okay, yeah. So we did a private investigation a year last May, and my work colleague is a little bit of an author, and he was writing a new book, and it was on demonology.
Okay.
And he said to me, and this guy's a prankster, but he was so serious when he was.
Sorry, the spirits were calling me.
Yeah, he was so serious about this that I knew that he wasn't pulling a fast one. And he said, "Oh, I'm hearing movement in the basement and things are moving." So us three went down for an afternoon just to get the feel for the building. And I'm not a firm believer in apps, but this comes along a little bit further in the story. But as we're pulling up to the location, there was a cemetery on the left, graveyard on the right. And then we pull into this guy's driveway, and the house was built in two halves. One half of it was like 1875, and the other half was like 1950.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I know where you're going to go with this. Yeah.
So we then go to, we do a bit of an interview, and then we go down into the basement, and we've got one of these apps on our phone.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a bit skeptical about them.
Was it Spirit Talker or what app
It
was it?
I was going to say
Necro.
Necro.
It was Necro.
Okay. Yeah.
And as soon as we switched it on, it went cemetery, graveyard, and I can't remember which date it was, but 1875. Come and find me.
Wow.
It's like we're looking at each other going,
Back to back.
Yeah. And it's like within seconds of each other, it's like, no way.
Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff it's amazing, but it's also kind of scary at the same time. Like, how can it be so intelligent and giving commentaries on exactly what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've had that happen a lot on Spirit Box, even with the app that you talked about. You know, I could be in one location, they could be in another location. I could be watching them from like I don't know, a mile or more away, and it's giving blow by blow commentaries on what happened. And when they come back, I'm like, tell me exactly what happened. And it was exactly what it said.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of spooky, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. There's definitely some apps that I believe a little more in. Lee or what's that new app there that Barry?
Spirit Wave.
Wave? What's that
Spirit
one?
Wave. So it's been created by one of the paranormal investigators in the UK, by a guy by the name of Barry Guy.
Okay.
He's on Help My House is Haunted and Celebrity Help My House is Haunted. And he created this app, which is done by the Alice ITC programs. And he's been getting some really good result. Excuse me. Some really good results with that. And Logan and I were at the Watson Mill in Manotick, and we were getting some pretty good results.
Yeah,
that was the first time that we had ever used it.
There was the moment that comes to mind with that app in particular. We were at the Smith Falls Heritage House, which is a wonderful museum in Smith Falls, Ontario. We were in the attic because it was known that there was a little girl that had passed away in the house at the time of them living there.
Right.
1800s, I believe, or early 1900s. She had died from smoke inhalation, I believe.
Oh.
But we were using this app, and what's neat about it is it doesn't do the technical or the same technique of other apps where it's a dictionary and it kind of just spits out words. Instead, it uses its own vocabulary and kind of builds words on its own, so you'll actually hear words come out in different tones, I guess. You could have a man, you could have a woman, you could have a little girl. And what I like about it too is it'll tell you once it's supposedly positive energy or negative energy. It'll kind of turn green or red depending on how the frequency is recorded. But what I found interesting is at the time we were in the attic, and it was myself and a co-investigator, Frank, and we were trying to communicate with the little girl, and we were asking her, what's your name? And clear as day, her voice comes out and says her name, and we're like, that's weird. Okay, we've also got a dead bell next to us, which, if you don't know, is a little bell which uses EMF, and if it gets an EMF spike, it'll ring the bell. So we asked her, I was like, is this the name that you just said? And the bell goes off twice in a row, like back to back. And I was like, come on. So going back to what Valter said, for us, that's two different mediums that are confirming the exact same thing, which to us is enough to say, yeah, something weird is happening here.
Yeah, I love it when that happens, right? And then, like, have you ever seen the actual visuals? Like, we've seen a lot of like orbs and stuff like that, and just visually, have you seen?
I've experienced a lot of pareidolia,
okay,
which, depending on who you ask, I guess could be, psychological, or could be something. I've shown the same photo to a lot of different people. Where, to me, at the time of filming, you can see my reaction online there, but. My mind is blown. I'm like, what am I looking at? There's like a mannequin, and then I'm like, okay, wait, no, that's someone. No, it's a mannequin. No, it's not. And then it turns out it's neither.
I like to set up the trail cam with the infrared. I find you get a lot more with that.
Yeah, well, exactly.
They'll say to us, turn off the light, or we live in the shadows, and it's true. We find that if you do have low light, they seem to interact more. But if it's haunted AF, then if you go in the middle of the day, then you're going to have activity, right? Oh, yeah. It doesn't have to be dark, but they will tell you, I like the dark, or we live in the dark, or turn off the camera.
Yeah, and that's just it. A lot of people ask, it's like, well, do you need to investigate at night? And it's like, no, but investigating at night does help all the noise pollution and just general world noises. Like everyone's gone to sleep, so it's like you're likelier to get EVPs or whatever it is. You're more in the zone.
And what do you think about the theory of the 3 a.m. witching hour or midnight witching hour?
Honestly, the way I see it, that way, like what Logan is saying, you can investigate during the day or at night. But why night is better? One, it increases your senses. Two, it brings that energy because you're already like
right.
So you're going into that, right? So when it comes to 3 a.m. being that witching hour, because of so much talk about it, it even adds more suspense to it. So I think that's why a lot of people think that at 3 a.m. You're going to get more activities, because your mindset is already put to that spot, right? So now again, when it comes to the whole thing with energy being at frequencies, you just put yourself into that same frequency where now you're going to match with it and things will happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've conducted some experiments like that, and it's kind of uncanny. It can be kind of strange. Well, what do you guys recommend for people going to visit your area? You named a couple tourist spots for paranormal tourism. Do you have any others you want to give a shout out to? And then we can start talking about where to find you guys and how to follow you on social.
If you're in the Brockville area in Ontario, there's definitely the Fulford Place. That's a wonderful museum to check out. It's home of one of the what was she? She did seances essentially in her home, but invited prime ministers back in the 1800s. So she still got the original room. Well, I mean, the museum still has the original room with all the glass mirrors and the table and everything in the middle, and it's super eerie. Definitely recommend, if you get the opportunity to go investigate, try to do your own seance if you dare. We tried. We had some crazy reactions. I don't know if you want to explain, but briefly, just because I know
So when we went there, basically, and I asked, does anybody want to do a seance? We had some volunteers. We had a few guests plus our own team members. And again, because I like to dabble in a lot of things, right? I decided to lead that seance. So we're holding hands in this mirror room, right? We have a portal in another room. And as we're starting to begin, I told everyone, close your eyes, doing the whole ritual stuff, right? Long story short, the portal's already telling us, don't do us, evil, demon, telling us all this stuff, right? But the members that were with us were experiencing some phenomena happening. Like one of our own team members was feeling very sad and going through those emotions. Logan himself started to visualize, what was it again?
Some demon-looking thing. It was not something you'd want to see.
And the way that happened is I guess what I could say is like going with the theory of opening certain gates to go on to the paranormal, going higher and higher to the demon gate, for example, right? When I was reaching to that stage and channeling and everything, that's when everything started to go a little bit kind of crazy with everyone's experiencing stuff, the portal going, and it's the point where, because the room has mirrors everywhere, on the side of my eye, I could start seeing something manifesting.
Oh.
Again, I'm not sure, but I'm like, you know what? If he's seeing a demon, he's feeling sad, everyone is feeling something, I should probably back off before I do something really stupid. And then I changed that level, brought it all back. By the time I stopped, everybody was back to normal.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, I guess it works.
Definitely a place to check it.
It sounds like a place to check out for sure. Now, for the folks that listen, do you want to give a shout out for where people can find you and all your socials and that? I pulled up a few of your my links a few minutes ago.
Lee, I'll leave it to you since you've got your podcast as well.
Okay, so we are available. I know you had the links up a couple of minutes ago. We've got our own TikTok page. We've got Instagram. We've got a YouTube channel. We've got Facebook. And the podcast is also available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all the other normal platforms that you see podcasts on.
And that's SIPA Paranormal Chronicles for his podcast.
Yeah.
SIPA Paranormal Chronicles for the podcast. So everybody, follow SIPA Canada. I hope y'all have a great Christmas and a happy New Year, shall we say also. And I'm going to leave you guys with a bit of Bog Team music. How about some 80s? How does that sound?
I like it.
All right.
Well,
thanks again for being on the show. Y'all have a great Christmas.
Thank you.
All right.
Too.
Hey,
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Right.
And don't hang. So y'all gonna have some eggnog Christmas?
Oh, well, for sure. I mean, that's my go-to personally.
Oh, for sure. And what do you put in your eggnog, though?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a secret.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to release that info.
It's a simple recipe.
There you go.
There you go. Recipe book for Christmas. There we go.
There you go. All right. Well, everybody, follow SIPA. It's a great Christmas gift. Open their podcast and take a listen. Thanks for listening to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 FM on that go.